It came down hard.
I haven't seen this in Tecumseh since I've been here.
Placing roads underwater.
Lots of cars stuck.
A rainstorm so mighty, even police officers had to play the role of tow truck while drivers waited.
I've been out here for about 2 hours waiting for a tow truck.
And waited.
Call after call. I got maybe another 6, 7 call after call on the same street.
We're getting stalled out, and then we're having to get into a rescue situation.
In a 4-hour period Thursday morning, Tecumseh OPP responded to 30 stalled vehicle calls, all from low-lying areas like L'Esperance. They even found 20 license plates believed to have fallen off vehicles on flooded roadways.
It does not make sense to try and plow through heavy amounts of water.
Officials say approximately 140 millimeters of rain has touched down in the town of Tecumseh, making it one of the worst rainfalls on record since 1978.
And that resulted in massive floodings of homes, even while pumping stations worked at full capacity.
We have all hands on deck, all of the public works, water crew, and even some of the parks crew manning the pumping stations to make sure that trash grates are clear and that the pumps continue to stay on.
Still, they just couldn't keep up with Mother Nature.
Municipal infrastructure simply is not designed to handle that type of a rainfall, that type of intensity, that short a duration.
Almost all major roadways in Tecumseh looked like a pond. Good news for these guys, but bad news for homeowners.
Their basements have flooded and whatever else, stay out, especially if the power is on. Once the water's up into those areas and whatever else plugs are affected, they could be electrocuted.
And for some drivers who now have to deal with the aftermath.
No surprise that hundreds came out to attend Elena Fric Shamji's funeral in Windsor. It was only 2 weeks ago when her body was discovered in a suitcase, resulting in the arrest of her neurosurgeon husband, Mohammed Shamji, who is now charged with first-degree murder. Now, this story has not only rocked the medical world, but has also sparked a new conversation in regards to domestic violence. But her loved ones say they don't want her memory to be defined by what happened, but rather by the difference she made not only in Windsor, but province-wide.
As the casket holding the body of Dr. Elena Fric Shamji was carried into the church, friends, family, and colleagues looked on, some fighting back tears.
Articulate, she was such a beacon of light.
Also in attendance was Elena's parents, Joseph and Anna Fric, who walked in holding the hands of Elena's 3 young children.
They're coping as best they can under these difficult circumstances, and I don't know how they're going to get through it.
Hundreds of people attended the funeral service here at St. Francis of Assisi Church. Among them were about 25 doctors from Toronto who came down to show their support to the family.
We all knew her and worked with her, and we all realized her potential as a leader in the medical community.
The doctors formed an honor guard, all wearing a purple ribbon to create awareness on violence against women.
And it certainly brought to our attention just how close to home it can be.
During the Mass, Fric Shamji was described by her friends as a doctor that had a genuine compassion for women's health. She was also known for her ambition and unconditional love for her 3 children.
She was very devoted to her family.
Fric Shamji's 2 daughters spoke at the funeral, one thanking the community for their support, while the other read a poem dedicated to their mother.
Raising 3 kids and seeing the kids last night at the funeral, she must be a perfect mother.
While the Croatian community in Windsor and the medical community in Ontario continue to mourn, close friends of Fric Shamji say she will not be defined by her tragic death, but rather by the impact she made in many people's lives.
We loved her. We're friends.
An education trust fund for Elena Fric Shamji's 3 children has been set up, and you can find that link on our website at windsor.ctvnews.ca. There's an extreme amount of tension this afternoon. What was originally a demonstration organized by the Canadian Coalition of Concerned Citizens spurred an unexpected counter-protest of individuals that say they're fighting against racism. This protest, however, is not to be confused with the Fight Islamophobia rally that was scheduled to take place this weekend but was canceled. Even so, individuals came out to push back what they say is a real threat to our community.
We don't go in nobody else's country and change your people or anything.
It was a heated exchange of words.
There's bad Christians and bad Muslims. You're an idiot. We're not racist.
between two groups standing for what they believe in.
It's about freedom of speech, okay? That's the bottom line. That's why I'm here.
I decided to come here today because these people are trying to spread hate, and I am against that hate.
Islam. I have no problem with Arabs.
It's Arabs, exactly. We have no problem with them.
The Canadian Coalition of Concerned Citizens organized the rally protesting the anti-Islamophobia motion, which calls on the government to condemn Islamophobia and all forms of systemic racism.
But when it comes down to, they're going to tell us what we can and can't say, but they can say what they want about other religions and everything else, so I'm sorry, I don't agree with it.
But that message sparked this.
Nobody here is racist.
A white racist, a pinhead, a skinhead. I'm here because I'm against you. I don't like what you guys are doing.
Groups of individuals were fighting back.
Your side has grabbed people multiple times.
These people say that they're not bigots, but then they have signs like the one behind you that says that they do not want Islam.
Counter-protesters argued, saying refugees and immigrants are not dangerous, but an asset.
Refugees and immigrants are what make us strong. This is what makes us weak.
The Canadian Coalition of Concerned Citizens fear an anti-Islamophobia law will open the door to the Sharia law in Canada. Counter-protesters disagree.
I want my freedom of speech as a Canadian. I got that right. I pay my taxes, and that's that.
Muslims have been in Canada for a very long time. There is nothing that's going to change.
The anti-Islamophobia motion, also known as M103, requests the Heritage Committee look at how the government could develop an approach to reduce systemic racism and religious discrimination. But in terms of when the Fight Islamophobia protests will be scheduled, that is still undetermined.